series. But now we are moving on to the semi-finals. Again, shout out to these two players. They've been patiently waiting for an hour, papi. Oh my god, for almost an hour. But here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Amygdala. We have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran, the blue Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. And if you're in the chats, you know what time it is. It's Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you believe will take the series. Will it go one way or the other? To one Terran or the other? Best of luck. As I believe when it comes to our semifinals, we have Ryung and Nicoract as the top two semifinalists. Meanwhile, we have also alongside them Euthermal and Geralt. Euthermal and Geralt will be the next semifinals, will be after this series. So 3 Terrans and a Protoss. No Zerg. Smurge, Pappy Smurge. Shout out to Eon, shout out to Young Yakov, by the way. I was favoring Young Yakov in his series against Euthermal, but Euthermal, he did pop off, did take down Young Yakov in a very impressive result, very impressive fashion. I'm looking forward to catching some mark later on down the line. Some Ubu Thermal, Pappy, if you will. We'll get there, we'll get there. For now, we can focus on our TvT. Meanwhile, it's going to be a double gas opener out of Nicoract, going for a Rax into Factory. Meanwhile, Ryung going for the Rax into CC. It's going to be an economic start as we only have 1 gas. So we do have a divergence in builds. Again, Ryung, it is his debut in the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. He has never competed in our tournament before, at least not in this one. So great to see him showcasing himself for the first time. Do love to see it. And Ryung, he's known for his TvT. His TvT is his best matchup. He's a TvT sniper. He was known as the Clem Crusher for a while, as well as he was the answer to the problem that was Clem a couple of seasons ago in WTL in those playoffs. So I'm sure this is what Ryung wants. He wants pure TvT. Oh boy. And we'll see if he can be stopped. We shall see. Also, there were some subs during the last game, and I do apologize. I was engrossed in the series, so I didn't quite give you a shout out, but a shout out to Boom Cool in the chat. Hi guys, let's go. Subscribing for 3 months. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Boom Cool. God, I hope you're still there. If so, thank you for subscribing. Likewise, there was a second subscription towards the end of that game. Just catching up. It was Noganzu, papi. Gracias. Thank you so much for subscribing for 3 months as well. Oh, also 3 months. Thank you for with Twitch Prime. With Twitch Prime, good content. Quack. Gracias. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the I'm glad you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the emotes. And again, we're live on a daily basis. Today is going to be a busy day for us. If you are unaware, today we start the day off with Tenacious Turtle Tussle. This is our first cast, followed by the Pondcast later on, followed by the very first Masters Coliseum qualifier, the Asia qualifier. So we have 3 casts today, or technically 2 casts and 1 podcast. So technically a cast, true, technically a cast. 3 streams, I should say. We have 3 streams here today. It's gonna be busy. Ay. And again, today or tonight marks the first Mass Coliseum qualifier, and we're going to be covering Coliseum qualifiers for the next 4 days. 4 days. It goes Asia, then Europe, then Korea. I should say Europe/America, or Europe/North America, followed by Korea, and then the global qualifier. So 4 qualifiers back to back, 4 days in a row is what we're going to be covering. Meanwhile, we're settling into our TvT. Again, we did have a little bit more of a tech-heavy opener from Nicoract. With this, he's going for an earlier Viking here. So he's playing very safe, Viking into Cyclone. Now, the reason why Nicoract is playing safe is because he doesn't know what's going on. He has no idea. He did not scout whatsoever. So with his Viking and Liberator, if Ryung were to open up with an early Cyclone drop or with early Banshees, which Ryung has been known to do, then Nicoract will be ready. So again, he's on patrol, making sure that he's safe and sound. Meanwhile, Ryung did open up economically, so Ryung, he's up in workers. He does have that slight economic edge over his opponent, followed by Raven production and a couple of safety Cyclones. As a reminder, this is the old Cyclone, so the Cyclones, they definitely do have their place here, especially in the early game of TvT. They do provide a lot of utility. They shoot up and they shoot down. It's crazy. It's wild. Double starport, 2-port all in. Okay, Nicoract, he's going for a 2-port, 2-base all-in. Let's go. Ryung goes for a fast 3rd CC. Ooh, Nicoract, things are looking pretty good for him. So far, at least, as long as he goes unscouted. We'll see. Meanwhile, as we're getting into our game. A shout out to Lykix in the chat. Papi God, thank you so much for also subscribing with Twitch Prime for 4 months. For 4 months, Papi. Thank you, thank you. Terrans need a lot of duct tape. Of course, Papi, of course. I need all the support. Kappa. But yeah, Ryung, he's being economic. He's being greedy, I should say. He's being very greedy, rushing to a 3rd CC, which is ideal considering Nicoract is going for a 2-base all-in. Now, what this 2-base all-in entails is a double starport massive Viking production into Liberator. Now, the goal of this build is you gain air control with your Vikings by zoning away and shutting down the Ravens and the Medivacs and everything else, and then your Liberator wreaks havoc. Ooh, as the Raven does scouts. Does come in with a scout, does get eyes on the reinforcing Vikings. Raven is going to be hunted down, though. Raven does fall. Ryung going double eBay behind this as well. And here we go. Here comes the all-in. And again, the reason why air control is so important in TvT, one, of course, the tank shoots further than it sees. So you do need that air control to be able to grant that vision. But on top of that, the Liberator here will bully the tanks as well. If there's nothing in the air, nothing to stop that Lib. Meanwhile, the army is spotted. Ryung trying to slow this down. Does attempt to, but Nicoract, he doesn't stop. Keeps going. Back at home, what is it to defend? Okay, disable is done. There's 2 Ravens, there's 1 tank, there's the high ground, sorry, 2 tanks, and a bunker. Can Ryung survive? Liberators, again, they bully back the tanks. They force the on siege. I'm loving the turret, though. The turret will actually force tanks to slowly push forward to deal with the turret first before the Lib can engage. Turret buys some time. The Liberator siege is up. When it does take down the Cyclone. Cyclone goes down. More Libs amassing here for Ryung. He's trying to hold on. Again, these Ravens still have potential. Nicoract, he does spot the Vikings. He will focus them down. He gets 1. He gets 2. Gets both Vikings. Meanwhile, Ravens are coming in from behind for that mass disable, but they get spotted. They get spotted. No, they get seen. And now Nicoract can just chase him down. He can just focus down those Ravens. He can push in with the ground army as well. And Ryung, he's hurting. Ryung is in a lot of trouble here. These Ravens are the one lifeline that Ryung has. Tanks get pounced upon. Disable's coming in. He commits. He gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3. The boys are being pulled. 3 tanks are disabled. And Ryung, he tries to break out. Does he have enough? Ooh, he does not. Yeah, the Vikings, they hold their own. Tanks, they survive. Disable runs out. And Nicoract, he's snowballing out of control. Ooh, he will lose all of his Vikings, though. A very intense fight. 27 SCVs for Nicoract. He has a booming economy, but that's a late 3rd CC. He has a booming economy, but he's heavily oversaturated. He needs a 3rd base. 3rd base is on the way. Liberator's coming in to reinforce. Nicoract, he is so close to breaking Ryung. He is so close, slowly pushing forward within range of the CC. Tanks are sieging up. Again, the 3rd base is late, but despite that, Nicoract, he's still in a good position. Still in a very good position here. Going for the tank, will snipe it. Tank falls. Oh my god, has high ground vision. Gets another tank. And Ryung, he's hurting. He's hurting back. CC's trying to escape, but can it be hunted down? Is there a repair? No repair. CC falls. And Nicoract, he has done it. He has broken the back of Ryung. Ryung going for a desperation double drop across the map. Has potential, true. Has potential, especially if there's nothing at home to defend. Nicoract, he has left a couple of units. Slowly pushing into the main. Drop is unloaded. Stim is done. 1-1 and combat shields. These are well upgraded Marines. He catches the tank. Gets the tank. Goes to the mineral line. Getting a lot of SCVs. Oh my god, it's a meat grinder. 11, 12, 13. 13 SCVs go down. Double drop into the main. Nicoract, he's in trouble here. He's having a hard time keeping up. Losing more SCVs, losing more production. Liberator goes down as well. 2 Vikings. The efficiency here, the trades for Ryung have been insane. 16 SCVs, 2 Vikings, a Lib, a tank, another Liberator. And Nicoract, he's racing back home. He's racing back home. This is good damage, but still not enough. Ryung, he's still down in economy, still down in SCVs. This is impressive, but he needs more. Oh, the Vikings. Hunt down the medevac. Ryung gets cleaned up. He's moving out with another double drop. And Nicoract, he has to stay back here. He's just gonna turtle. Like, after what just happened, I'm sure Nicoract is terrified about pushing out because he doesn't want to lose this game. he doesn't want to throw this game, so he's just gonna turtle. He's gonna turtle up on 3 bases, secure himself, and get a 4th. Now this means that on the one hand, Ryung, sure, he has map control, true, but it's gonna be difficult to gain value. He gets 2 tanks. Uh-oh. Takes out 2 tanks. Goes to the mineral line. SCV's getting caught out. Ryung still trading very efficiently here, by the way, getting 8 SCVs and 2 tanks. Is going to be cleaned up, though. Let's get the hell out of here. Drop on the right-hand side. Gets a singular tank. Gets 1. He wants both. He's going to get them. Again. Like, Ryung flexing his micro. Takes down 2 more tanks, sieges up within range, going for more tanks, does get 1, does get 3, does get up to 4. Marines coming in, and he's pulling Nicoract apart. Oh my god, with the bare minimum. Ryung achieving so much with so little tanks. That's a kill, not a cancel. Kills the CC, gets another tank. Tank volleys going off, the Vikings are falling. Oh my god. Nicoract, he can't keep up. Oh my god, it's crazy. The value. I mean, look at the trades. That was 1 tank, 33 Marines for 4 tanks, 60 on the entire mineral line. But Nicoract, he's holding. He's holding on. He's forcing Ryung back. It's been impressive. It's been impressive what Ryung has done. But it's still not enough. He's still stuck on 22 SCVs. He's still down a base, down an economy. He has to calm down. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, Ryung, he has to back off. Nicoract, he's holding. Behind this, getting into mech, of course. Getting to mass tank. Ryung, the drop play continues. How many Vikings do we have? 2. Only 2 Vikings. But they do happen to be in position. The Vikings are ready. Oh! Catch out one of the medevacs. Ryung, he has to make a choice. Where does he go? A little bit indecisive. 1 medevac goes down, the other does drop into the main. There's a tank in position. Does get into the mineral line. SCV's going down. Likewise, tanks, they maneuver over here towards the natural. In between the bases. Ryung getting 6 SCVs and a tank. But he still has no good answer here to this air control. He wants to live, and he doesn't get it. Barely not. Liv survives. For a little bit longer. There we go. Finally goes down. Meanwhile, that's 14 SCVs. That 1 medevac drop, 14 SCVs go down. I mean, again, Nicoract still is ahead, but Ryung, he doesn't want to take this line down. He's fighting tooth and nail for this game. Trying to claw his way back in. Ay, ay, ay. Despite that 60 SCV economy, 4 CCs now being rebuilt. Right as there was a killed 4th base earlier, if you recall. Ryung fighting with half the size of an army. With half the army supply. Let's go. Meanwhile, Nicoract going for a counterattack, and there is nothing at home to defend. That's the problem here, is that Ryung has been so heavily aggressive here, getting damage done, but there's nothing at home. SCV's getting caught out, and this may be the killing blow. This may just be too much. Ryung is pushing in. He's going to be trading, but this time we're somewhat in position. Yeah, the Hellbats, the Vikings. Nicoract holds. And he will still take this game. GG gets called, and Nicoract takes a lead in the series. GG. Whew, oh my god. GG, well played. Very intense game. As a reminder, winding it back, what did happen in this game? Nicoract went for a 2-base all-in, if you remember. And Ryung went 3CC. Ryung was cutting corners. Ryung was being very greedy. He was going for a 3rd CC, double eBay, very bio heavy, going for the mid game, and he was caught out by the all-in. So the 2-base all-in did cripple Nicoract. It did cripple Ryung. Basically, it killed Ryung. It should have killed Ryung, but Ryung, he had some insane drop play, some insane micro control, attention to detail, I should say, when it came to his units across the map. And with that, Ryung, he fought hard. He still lost. He wasn't able to recover, but it was impressive what he was able to get done. Again, he was just too far behind to recover from that point, from that moment. He needed a lot more to actually bounce back in that game. Did need a lot more there, and alas, Nicoract did secure himself. It was still a shaky win towards the end. Like, it wasn't the cleanest of follow-ups, but did make it. Was good enough. Was good enough here. GG, well played. Nicoract takes the lead, and will he knock Ryung out? Again, Nicoract, one more game is all he needs to take the series, as this is a best of 3. Here we go. Whew. Oh my god. We're popping off, Pappy. We're popping off. As we're going to be loading into a much larger map, we're loading into Frostline. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Frostline, we have the Red Terran player for the Platinum Heroes, leading the series 1-0. It is Nicoract. One more game is all he needs, and spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the favored player for the entire tournament, who is struggling here in the semifinals. Can he bounce back? Can he force the ace match? Or does his tournament run end here and now? For Team Vitality, the South Korean Terran, it is Ryung. We go. Hi. We're going to be calming things down here, and I'm sure Ryung is going to think better of going into a greedy build this time. Remember, Ryung, he went for a very fast 3rd CC last game. Like, as both players kind of gambled in their own way, Nicoract, he was able to roll better, was able to land on that D20, of course, and snowball out of control. Ryung, double gas. There we go. Double gas opener out of Ryung. I was going to say that if we wanted to go for something more economic, this would be a better map for it because of the longer rush distance by ground. But no, Ryung, he's had enough being the defender, being the opening up economically. He's going for double gas. Double gas, faster factory. Nicoract does the same. So, mirrored openers this time from our 2 players. Whew. Let's settle in. Let us settle in. Nicoract, he does come in with the SCV scouts. Does get eyes on the setup here. Factory is on the way. I mean, again, mirrored builds, mirrored starts. Getting into our factory, getting into our CC as a follow-up as well. We should be expanding and then working towards the mid-game. Or working towards that next step. From here, we can go into Reactor Reaper Hellion. We can go into early Cyclone production. We can go into early Banshees as well. I did mention that Ryung, I mean, a lot of the Korean Terrans are not afraid to go into a singular Banshee to harass in this matchup. As the Reaper will get across the map, Nicoract taking a chance, so does Ryung! Reapers, they move in, and the CCs will be delayed for both players. SCVs go down, so far both players keeping up with each other. And the Reapers, they back off. So both players, they took a chance. And we are still keeping up with each other. No major advantage from either player. Here we go. So Ryung, he's getting into his 1-1-1. Do you have that tech lab on the way? This is looking like an add-on swap into potentially Banshee or just early Raven. But we have the safety Cyclone as well from at least Ryung. Meanwhile, Nicoract, he's going to be continuing Reaper Hellion production. Okay, we're getting up to 5 Reapers and 3 Hellions. Very aggressive, very committed. Now, the goal of this move out for Nicoract is to, 1, get on top of the Cyclone, break through the army, and get into the mineral line. So very aggressive move here from Nicoract. We'll see if Ryung can survive this. We'll see if he can defend. Again, a lot of it will come down to whether or not he saves the Cyclone, and whether or not Nicoract snipes it. As Nicoract, he's just waiting for his Reaper. Reaper pops out, and now it's time to move out. Nicoract, he will push. Meanwhile, Ryung, he's slightly out of position, but he's coming back. Shout out to the turtle. Ah, la tortuga. As Nicoract, he does move out. Ryung is in position. And Nicoract, can he break through? Now there's a second Cyclone. Cyclones lock on, and Nicoract, he has to back off. He has to retreat. Ooh, we'll bleed out a Reaper, we'll bleed out a Hellion. More lock-ons. We'll get one of the Cyclones. It does get one, but does not get into the Mineral Line. He goes in for a Scout. We'll confirm the setup here. As we mentioned, Banshee opener, no surprise for Ryung. Is very fond of it. But the Reaper Hellion is cleaned up. Ryung holds. He holds, he defends. At least Nicoract saw the Banshee, so he knows he can be ready for it. He should be setting up back at home. Cyclone is in position. Behind this, Ryung goes straight to a third TC. Third TC is on the way. As we settle into our game, shout out to Yusef in the chat. Yusef2709. God, thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great, I'm assuming, ladder session. Hope you had a good time, and welcome one and all to the semi-finals of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. For those that are curious, this is an open tournament, an open weekly, and we are in the semi-finals. We have reached the top 4. As the players are setting up. Oh, Banshee looking for a way in, but so far Nicoract is in position. Does deflect. Does maintain himself. Oh. As we do get the counter lock on, Cyclone goes down. Nice catch here by Ryung, baiting at the Cyclone. Does pick it off. And remember, behind this, Ryung, he's only posturing because he is taking a much faster third base. Third CC is on the way, soon to be taken on location. And Nicoract has yet to throw down his own. There it is. Now it's being thrown down, but it is far later. Now, because the command center is later for Nicoract, this does put a lot of pressure on him to be active, to move out across the map, and to delay the third base of Ryung. Here comes that move out. Ryung, he catches a couple of Marines, gets one. Ideally, he wants to pick up a tank or a Raven. Speaking of, oh, gets a lock on. Tank takes some hits. Nicoract is committing. The Ravens likewise taking a little bit of damage as well. That's damage here from Ryung. Gets a Marine. Gets a second Marine as well. Coming in from behind for the tank. Ooh, gets another Marine in the end. But the Banshee will fall. Nice pick up here from Nicoract. He commits. Stable in the tank, but the Ravens, they come in. Sorry, Cyclones coming from behind, and they shut them down. Both tanks will fall. And Nicoract getting picked apart here. God, this Cyclone control. Jesus. Ryung, he still maintains that they're just picking this army apart. Finally, one Cyclone goes down. No, not even. It survives, takes out every Marine, every tank. The Ravens get out of there, but Ryung holds. And now Ryung can take his third. He can take his third base, expand freely. Nicoract still working on his own. And that was a brutal fight. Again, the power of the Cyclone. Ay, ay, ay. As Nicoract, he does reinforce. At least he does keep the Ravens alive. Scans ahead of time, spots the third. Does spot the expansion. Oh. Gonna be setting up, securing himself in between the bases. Disable's coming in. He gets one. Gets one tank, and with the reinforcements, Ryung, he will break through. He will shut down the tank line. And GG gets called. Ryung ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. GG, well played. We are going all the way to game 3. Again, Ryung just having his way with that army. I should emphasize as well, just really good unit control out of Ryung. Really good map awareness as well, to be out on the map, to catch the army move out, and just pick away at that army as well over the course of that move out. Just picking away at the Marines, the tanks, everything. It was impressive. By the time Nicoract got across the map, he got surrounded, got shut down. With that, GG, well played. We are going all the way to the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends in game 3. As we said, Lynn, a shout out to Claw SC2 in the chat. Guys, oh my god, the back-to-back raids, Papi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great, I'm assuming, ladder session. Hope you had a good time. And welcome one and all to the semifinals of the Tenacious Turtle Tussle. We are about to crown our first finalists. Will it be Ryung? Will it be Nicoract? It could go either way. Could go either way here. As we have our final map, we're going to be loading into Ultra Love. Oh boy. Alright, loading into Ultra Love. Cloak bottle of water. I'm not British. What do you mean? But yes, make sure you hydrate yourselves. Hydrate, Pappy, hydrate. And here we go. We're getting into the ace match. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the red Terran player from the Platinum Heroes being forced into the ace match. Can he bring it back? It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Vitality. It is Ryung. Here we go. Our TvT does continue and does conclude on Ultra Love. Now we do have our initial openers. We're calming things down. And we'll see what builds we go for here. Now, on the one hand, the rush distance by ground is, I believe, shorter than that of Frostline. Frostline, but the bases are more secure. What I'm referring to here is that we have a ramp coming into the natural. Likewise, we have a choke point coming into the third. The distance by ground here, or even by air, the distance between the third and the natural is far closer than that on Frostline. Like Frostline, the bases are so exposed, they're so spread out, so exposed, so difficult to defend. Here, far easier instead. What I'm getting at is, if we wanted to, we could try to embrace a longer game state here, and both players could take into their third bases and get into a fourth and get into a split map scenario. We have seen that many a time already on Ultra Love, going in towards the ultra late game. But I don't know if that's what Nicoract wants. I don't know if that's how he wants to approach this. Nicoract in general is typically more of an aggressive player, as we saw in both Game 1 and in Game 2. So I imagine he wants to take a different approach. But we'll see. We'll see. As the SCV is able to pounce up on each other. As a result, Nicoract, his CC is going to be slightly delayed compared to Ryung's, but only slightly, by a couple of seconds. Not the biggest of deals. As we settle in. Racks expand out of Nicoract, racks expand out of Ryung. Economic openers all around. Alright, going for these economic openers. So far, so good. Now, as aggressive as Nicoract wants to be, I feel like we shouldn't be seeing another 2-port 2-base all-in this series. We saw it in Game 1, it worked very well, but ideally you don't want to rely on it too heavily in a series, just because Ryung is going to be more on notice as to looking out for that sort of thing. So I feel like that build is off the table at this point. We could see early medevac into an early tank drop, an early tank move out. Could have Nicoract go for his own Banshee opener. We'll see. For now, we're calming things down. Getting to our 1-1-1s. Starports are on the way. And we can take a moment to breathe. Two players, OP and Imp. TvT unwinnable, Pappy. Unwinnable. It's impossible. Oh my god. True. As we have Nicoract getting into his attack lab. We'll see if he goes for the add-on swap. Attack labs are on the way for both players. Getting to our factory and starport production. Okay, no add-on swap, but additional tech labs nonetheless. Cyclone first for Nicoract, tank first for Ryung. Ooh, tank first into the medevac. If you recall, I was theorizing that we might even see a tank drop opener out of Nicoract, but no, it's going to be the tank drop from Ryung instead. So Ryung is going to be the aggressor. With this, he's going to be moving out with Marines with that first tank as well, and he has potential to pick away at the army and even the add-ons here, as he can sit up here just outside the main and will be within range of the depot at least. Here we go. Ryung moving out, is rallying across the map. Here comes the medevac, here comes the tank. Now again, the main brunt of, or the main force in this army is going to be the tank, as that is going to be the backbone here. These Marines are vanilla Marines, they have no stim, they have no combat shields. It's all about that tank positioning and protecting the tank as well. As he does boost in, and he's going for the ramp. He's going for the production. Barely within range of the depot. Auto turret gets thrown down. Lock on here on the tank, and the tank is going to be targeted. Nice pick off here by Nicoract. He shuts down the tank. The tank falls, and Nicoract holds. Nicoract, he does hold on. Did cost him the Cyclone, but trading a Cyclone for a tank, it's worth it. It's worth it here for our Red Terran player. With that, he holds on, and he will take a tank lead. Third TC gets played. Let's go! Economic follow-up. Third TC is on the way. Ryung, he's still rallying across the map, though. He does scout, does confirm. Ryung, he spots the third command center. Getting to reactor Viking production. Third TC going to be on location for Ryung. And he just keeps rallying. He reinforces with another tank. He's not stopping. Ryung, he is not stopping. Going for the depot. And he will get it. Likewise, I believe within range of the starport as well. Yeah, just barely. Starport under fire. Morax is on the way. Nicoract just trying to buy time for his own Vikings to try to vie for that air control. And Ryung is playing mech. Second factory is on the way. He's making it up. Making additional tanks. Now with 2 tanks within range, this starport taking a lot of damage. Nicoract attempting to repair. And we'll be able to. We'll be able to keep it safe. Attempting to reposition. Maneuvering to the low ground. Can Nicoract break out? Yeah, the Viking Council heavily in favor of Ryung. Oh, gets one. Disable's coming in. Nice round here by Nicoract. Disable saw the tanks. There's 1 tank left. Vikings land. The tanks, they maintain themselves. The 1 tank survives. But at least the other 2 did fall. And Nicoract, he's holding. He is holding on. But what's important about what's happening here, and the reason why Ryung is maintaining this position, the third. Even though Nicoract, he has had this third CC for a long time, he's not on location. And Ryung is. Ryung, he's mining from the third base. And what's important, his opponent is not. It's all about just delaying and denying the third for as long as possible. Vikings popping off, they land, they go for the tanks. 1 tank goes down, 2 tanks go down, and the Vikings, they wreak havoc. GG gets called as Ryung, he breaks the main, and Ryung will advance on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Ryung, he will advance on to those grand finals here. He will make it. But a shout out to Nicoract. Shout out to Nicoract because, hey, he forced the ace match and he did make a great series here with Ryung in the semifinals. So GG, well played. Nicoract can now rest easy. You know, I know it's getting quite late in Europe. In all of Europe, it's getting very, very late. So rest up, Pappy, rest up. GG, well played. Ryung will make it through. Congratulations. Now we're getting ready here for our next match, for our next series. At least I'm assuming we are. It's possible that we might be going on a short break. But here we go. We're going to be going on a short break here as we get ready for our next match. What I mean by that is, do we have our players? Do we have our players, Pappy? Oh, we're here to find out.